Welcome to Making More Money for You with Magnus Carter. Whether you feel that you don't have enough money to start investing or are under the preconceived notion that investing is only for the wealthy, Magnus and his expert guests are here to help you. Now here is your host, Magnus Carter.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I am your host, Magnus Carter. This is the Making More Money for You show. I have the pleasure of being with you for over a month already. I can't believe the time has flown by. And I appreciate all my listeners out there that's dialing in live and also on demand on all of our streaming services. Last week, we talked about nickels, dimes, and pennies. And what that really meant was how little bit over a lot of time actually creates great investments and a better tomorrow. My guest last week, of course, was Adam Torres, part of the Mission Matters and Money Matters platform, also podcaster, author, and marketer, and former investor. So if you haven't had a chance to look at that one, that is on demand. Take a look. And along with my other episodes, as everybody has chosen at the moment that the best show at the moment is recovering from a vacation. I want to thank you for that. And with me today, we're going to actually, instead of going on vacation, we're actually going to go back to school a little bit here. So I have a special guest with me, Mr. Steve Hassinger, who is the Dean of Career Services and Development at Central Penn College that's located in Enola/Summerdale, Pennsylvania. Welcome to this show, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I look forward to it. And, coming back from vacation wouldn't be such a bad thing, but we're in the middle of a term here at Central Penn, so no vacation for me right now.
Well, you can dream about the vacation because, as we all know, school has come and gone by very quickly, especially for me. I know for you, you see a lot of new faces and you see a lot of familiar faces that come back actually after graduating to further their education. Isn't that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have people who have gotten 2 or 3 degrees from Central Penn College, and I've been here almost 20 years. So it's always great to see those folks, whether they're coming back for another degree or they're just coming to an alumni function or whatever the case may be.
And man, I was actually, that's how we reconnected after a while. As not a lot of people know, is I'm actually an alumni of Central Penn, and we've actually struck up conversation while I was at one of the alumni that actually happened from the past couple of years that we weren't able to do anything. And it was great to actually see some new faces, see some old friends, see a lot of teachers that I've had and some new ones that actually started there. And
it was great to reconnect at that event. We were hosting an event for the West Shore Chamber of Commerce, and we invited alumni to come back to that, and we had a lot of alumni who came out. So yeah, that was one of the first kind of major events that we had done with the chamber since COVID, in person. So it was great to reconnect with a lot of people and connect with some new faces as well.
Oh, absolutely. And it was great to actually talk with the Chamber of Commerce down there because they have a lot to do with a lot of the businesses, startups, jobs, job fairs, and they work definitely closely with you, particularly because of career services. You handle a lot of job placements and keep in touch with the local community.
We do, and we like to go to a lot of chamber functions because networking is so important, in getting started in your career and obviously advancing in your career as well. And actually, the president of the West Shore Chamber of Commerce here in our area, George Book, is now a member of our board of directors at Central Penn College. That was just recently announced since that event. So 2 great connections there.
Wow, it's amazing what changed in such a short time since actually talking and being at that function till now. That's a major step up for that gentleman, and definitely a pleasure for you guys to have sitting on your board.
Absolutely.
So, okay, Steve, let's go a little bit more in your background, because you just don't become dean of career services overnight, especially at a college. It's been in commission for over 100 years. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you actually decided to help the students and what career services and where and some of the stories that you've and people you met along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a bachelor's degree in psychology from Penn State University and an MED in student affairs from Regent University. And from 1990 to 2000, I was working in vocational rehabilitation. I was a vocational specialist. So I worked with people who had been injured primarily in workplace accidents, some auto accident victims as well. That gave me an opportunity to travel all around the state of Pennsylvania, up into New York and down into Maryland, working with those individuals and trying to help them get back into the workforce. Suggesting modifications that could be made to their job if they weren't physically capable of doing exactly what they had done before. So that really laid a good groundwork for me to work in career services. One of my coworkers from vocational rehabilitation eventually went on to become the career services director at a local school. And I would occasionally see her. We would have lunch together and so forth. And she told me about, working in career services. And I said, wow, that really sounds awesome. I'd love to work in career services. So in 2002, that opportunity came at Central Penn College. Central Penn was growing quite a bit at that time. And I had an opportunity to start here as the acting career services director in October of 2002. As I tell people, I acted so well that 3 months later they gave me the part, and I became the career services director. And it's almost 20 years later, and I'm still here. I love what I'm doing. And a couple of years ago, Dr. Fedrizzi, our current president, Linda Fedrizzi Williams, had asked me to move into a dean role, and she created several dean positions from student-facing positions that were not in academics. And it's great because it gives us an opportunity who are not directly in the academic side to interact with the academic deans. And we have representation at Dean's Council from all across the college. So it really is a great way for us to connect with one another and make sure that we are doing what's best for the students as well as our alumni.
Okay. Wow, that is very impressive, especially your span of career services. But you've always kept helping somebody either maintain their job, find a better way to do their job, and also helping companies on the back end so they don't have to spend the time and money to find someone else to do the same job that that person's been doing for a very long time.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are involved with, part-time jobs for students while they're in school, internship opportunities for students, and obviously career opportunities, as well as helping alumni after they've graduated. So if they're looking to change careers or looking to advance in their career, maybe they're looking to shift gears and get into somewhat of a different career, we're there to provide that guidance and that assistance along the way. And as you said, we work closely with employers to help them find the right people for positions that they're looking to fill. It's expensive to recruit talent, and employers are really struggling right now to find good talent as we've come out of COVID. And we see that, all of a sudden, the employers are struggling to fill positions that they need to have filled. So we're here to provide assistance on all of those fronts, and it keeps my job interesting because in any given day, I get to work with students, maybe prospective students who aren't even sure if college is what they want to do, as well as alumni and employers and the community, as well as our faculty and staff. So lots of different stakeholders, and keeps my job interesting.
I'm sure no 2 days of your job are the same at all.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're actually with the job services and whatnot. That's more towards the end of a student's career, or do you start talking to the students at the beginning of their career and talk throughout? How?
So the answer to that is yes. We work with students all across the curriculum. So, I might get a call from an admissions counselor that says, hey, I'm talking to a student who's thinking that they might be interested in coming to Central Penn College, but they're not quite sure, what they want to do, what major would be the best fit for them. So we have assessment tools to help those students, self-assessments that they can do online. and help them figure out what might be the best route for them if they were to come to Central Penn. We have a class called CPC Experience that allows us, CPC Foundations, sorry, used to be called Central Penn Experience, now it's CPC Foundations. So that's a class that first-time students are going to be taking, and we get into those classes as guest speakers in a student's first term. So we can introduce them to career services and the tools that we have available to them. And then we're here for them throughout their time at Central Penn. And obviously, as they're getting closer to graduating, they're starting to think more about, the career options and what exactly they might want to do in their career. So we're here to provide that assistance to them along the way as well. And then, as I said, once they graduate, they continue to have access to our services at no additional charge whenever they might need them.
Oh, that's wonderful news, especially for we all change, but the beginning of the change starts with the person choosing to invest in their mind.
Right.
So, and that's one of the main, that is the main topic for today is how do you decide what person is actually going to invest in their mind? And by meeting them, do you get a sense when you meet these students that they're actually going to take the time to invest in themselves? And of course, there's the student or applicant, if you will, that isn't sure if they want to invest in them or actually just go into their job or whatnot. So how do you bring that into perspective when they have all these choices in front of them but they don't know where to go?
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting, back when I was getting my bachelor's degree back in the 1980s, way back then, um, when you thought about college, you thought about 4-year degree, right? Bachelor's
Right.
degree or, master's degree or beyond. Now we have so many options available to us. So at Central Penn College, for instance, we have short-term certificate programs now. So maybe a student isn't sure, I don't know that I want to invest 3 or 4 years of my life in getting a bachelor's degree, but I do want some additional credential that's going to increase my earning capacity beyond my high school education. So we have, for instance, a bookkeeping certificate. That is 6 courses, 18 credits that somebody could get, and they could get a very good job as a bookkeeper, maybe doing accounts receivable, accounts payable upon completion of that certificate. We have other certificates as well, an entrepreneurship certificate. So maybe you have an entrepreneur out there, they want to start their own business, but they just need a little more background in accounting and marketing and the things that it's going to take to make their business successful. We have an 18 credit entrepreneurship certificate. Now, if they finish the certificate and they decide, you know what, hey, I kind of enjoyed this additional learning and I want to expand that credential further, they could go into an associate's degree in accounting, an associate's degree in entrepreneurship and small business. Maybe beyond that, they want to continue further and they want to get a bachelor's degree. So they could roll into a bachelor's degree in accounting, a bachelor's degree in business administration. And we have other certificate programs as well, and associate degree programs and bachelor degree programs. But this just to kind of give you an idea of how they can layer that education. And maybe you have somebody who's been out there working and, they have a bachelor's degree, but they just kind of want to specialize a little bit. So maybe they have a bachelor's degree in business, but they want to really focus on human resources and get into human resources. And they've had a difficult time breaking into the human resources field. So we have a human resources track that they could come back and they could get to complement their bachelor's degree, but give them that more specialized credential. So there's so many options out there that are available to students nowadays. And, it's hard to say what the typical student is. At Central Penn College, the typical student is, I think, 28, 27, 28 years old. They're not necessarily coming right from high school, although we do certainly have those students. But, we have students. I just had a student reached out to me this week who's, same age as me, 57, and finishing her second degree. Got her associate's degree and continued on for her bachelor's degree. So
Wow.
lots of different options, which I think is exciting, as well as, the delivery system. I mean, if they want to take all their classes in the classroom, they can do that. If they want to take all their classes online, for some programs, not every program, but some
Mhm.
programs, they can do it totally online. Or if they want to mix that, they can do that as well. So there's a lot of different options out there. It's really a matter of talking to the student. I want to know what's their goal in the end. Okay, do they have a specific goal in the end? Do they want to become an accountant? Do they want to become a probation officer? What's that goal? And then we can talk about the different options to get them to that point.
Now, when you're talking to these students, do you see uh, their progress? Do you actually see, even after a short amount of time, do you see the investment that they're actually starting to take in themselves? Do you, when you start investing in your mind, I know with doing investing in your body and your mindfulness, you become more aware of things and you start acting differently and you start also uh associating different ideas and ideals that you never thought were possible before. Do you see that in your students from when they start and what as they start their journey?
We do see that. And, that's one of the things that has kept me here, I think, for 20 years is, seeing that student and, maybe they start and that first term, they're really unsure.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
again, this could be a 17, 18-year-old student, or it could be a 50-year-old student, that first term is scary, and I'm not sure if I'm able to do this or if this is the right thing for me. And to see them progress and to start to build that confidence and to realize, hey, I can do this. And, it is worth investing in my mind because I'm going to see the rewards down the
Mhm,
road. And those rewards can certainly be financial rewards in terms of their
mhm.
earning power,
Okay.
but also, doing what they enjoy. And maybe they've been in a position, maybe even a good paying job, but they haven't enjoyed it. I think one of the things that we saw happen a lot with COVID is that people really started to examine where they were at in life and where they were at in their careers. And, maybe said, I'm not happy with this. This is not what I want for the rest of my life.
Mhm.
And now they're starting to invest in their mind and invest in themselves and take a track that hopefully will lead to more fulfilling careers as well as, financially rewarding careers.
That's a definitely an excellent point because once you don't enjoy it anymore, your quality of life goes down.
Hmm.
The quality of your work goes down, and I've experienced it. I've seen others that experience it as well, and they quit investing in themselves and completely. And that's one of the harder things that from this pandemic and this complete shutdown has definitely focused for myself is I took the time to actually sit, be still for a moment, be that mindfulness and actually say, well, this isn't bringing me enjoyable content anymore. So one thing that I've done was start investing in my mind again, what more certifications and looking into uh, this atmosphere as well as because I've always enjoyed investing. I have always enjoyed helping people as well. I find that they go hand in hand, and I'm seeing that and hearing from you as well on your side of the fence, especially from being in a professional atmosphere, that it is very enjoyable. And do you see yourself still helping people and investing in your mind while doing your job there?
Absolutely. And, every year I have goals that I develop at the beginning of the year, as well as, my internship coordinator that works with me, Kristen Fike. We sit down and we look at, what are our goals as a department? What are our goals for our students? What are our professional development goals? So I will be going to a conference 2 weeks from now, the PennACE conference, Pennsylvania Association of Colleges and Employers. I will be sitting in sessions there, investing in my mind and learning from my colleagues. I will also be presenting a couple of sessions at that conference for my colleagues. So we are at a time where we have to all be continuous learners,
Mhm,
whether we
mhm,
work in career services, we work in business, we work in the healthcare field, whatever profession we're in. I think we all have to be continuous learners because the world is just changing so quickly. And I mean, let's face it, we've got a world economy here. So, the things that are happening with Russia and Ukraine and with China, they impact our economy and our business and the way that we do business. So we all, I think, have to be continuous learners, given the state of business today.
Especially with that. And one of the excuses that I've heard time and time again, and I've also used, was I don't have the time to go during the day. I don't have the time that I can't uh, carve out of my schedule to actually do this.
Yeah.
So with that being said, how is Central Penn, and how are you as a person and an advocate for the college that sees this and actually talk with the students? How do you guys get over that hurdle?
So as I said, one of the keys is there's a lot of different options out there. So yeah, if somebody says to me, I don't have time to go to classes during the day, that's fine. Okay, we have evening classes that start at 5:30 or 6 o'clock at night. So if you want to take an evening class, they're going to meet one night a week for 3 hours, and there's going to be an hour online component as well. We also have what we call an accelerated schedule here. So we have 4 11-week terms as opposed to 2 15-week semesters. You get as many course hours in 11 weeks at Central Penn as you would get in a 15-week semester. But what that means is that you can knock out a 3-credit class in 11 weeks as opposed to 15. You have 2 weeks off in between the terms, and we also go year round. Now, if you want to take a term off, you can do that. You can take a leave of absence for a term, but you have the option of having 4 11-week terms as opposed to 2 15-week semesters during the year. So it gives you an opportunity to knock those classes out a little bit faster. If you can't physically go to class in the evenings and you want to do it online, as I said, a lot of our programs can be done totally online, or you have the option of combining that. And with our online classes, they are what we call asynchronous. So you do not have to be present in front of your computer at 7 o'clock on Tuesday night, for instance. The content is delivered totally in an online format. And most of those assignments are going to be due by 11:59 on Sunday night. So you can do it totally online. We have single moms who go to Central Penn, who their time to do their coursework is after the kids are in bed at 9, 10 o'clock at night. That's perfectly fine. We have that option for you. So there's a lot of different options out there. And beyond Central Penn, I mean, there's a lot of options that are available. You can learn a lot by Googling YouTube, or going to YouTube and
Exactly.
searching for topics. So there's a lot of different ways that we can invest in our mind these days.
Okay. Uh, Definitely YouTube, the internet has brought everything to our fingertips anymore. We don't have to go to a library, and we don't need to go to a friend's house that actually has a thing of encyclopedias after hours. It's amazing that our cell phones have more power
Mm.
than pretty much the last 2 decades of technology evolution. And that is just ridiculous. And like you're saying before, technology is constantly changing. We have to constantly keep up with it. If we don't keep up with it, we're going to be, well, a lot of people do end up getting lost in it because they don't know which way is up and then get swallowed in by it. One thing that I have noticed with this adventure that I'm on right now is that everything, even though you're standing still, everything is changing around you, and standing still is still a choice that you're still making on it.
Yeah.
But while I'm standing still, I'm also learning because I'm seeing what other people are doing.
Yeah.
I'm not letting that go by. So while you're standing still in your current position there, well, you're not really standing still. But when you take a moment and be present in a moment, what are the top 4 things that you notice on campus there?
Mm. Well, I mean, number one, I think is that there's so much diversity. Okay, which is again, that makes it so exciting for me because we have people from all different backgrounds, all different ages. And, you know, I grew up in a small town in Snyder County, Pennsylvania. Not a lot of diversity there.
Okay.
So one of the things that's really exciting for me is just, you know, seeing people from all different backgrounds, again, all different age groups. And, you know, you might have a class where you have an 18-year-old student
Mhm.
and a 58-year-old student from totally different walks of life. And, you know, the opportunity not just to learn the content of the class, but for them to learn from each other is really exciting for me. So I think the diversity that we have on campus or even in an online class is exciting. You know, we just had our youngest graduate in the history of Central Penn. We had a graduate who graduated at age 17 with a bachelor's degree. Okay.
17. Wow.
So, I mean, we talk about all the different possibilities that are out there. I mean, she brought a lot of credits from when she was in high school
Mhm.
and, you know, with the accelerated program, she was able to graduate at age 17. So, you know, she can graduate before she can have a drink, or she didn't even have her driver's license when she graduated, you know?
Right.
So the diversity is exciting for me. Um, you know, seeing, um, the success of people, as we kind of talked about, you know, the people
Mhm.
that maybe they're not too sure what they want to do when they start, and then seeing them move on through their education and move out into internship and start applying what they're doing, and then being successful in, you know, landing in that job, maybe that first job with the new degree or the new certificate that they've completed.
Okay.
That's always exciting for me to see that success. We have a student who just started a new federal job yesterday here in Mechanicsburg at NAVSUP. You know, great opportunity for him. And he's visually impaired. He's legally blind.
Wow.
So, you know, seeing him start that job yesterday and, you know, the level of excitement that he had in getting that first day in the books and so forth,
Mhm.
you know, those kind of things really excite me. So we're seeing great things happen with people who are investing in their mind. And that always keeps me excited. And then I would say, you know, you asked for four things. I think that was probably two if we're counting here.
Yep.
We've got a
No.
lot of exciting partnerships.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna hold off right there for a second,
Sure.
Steve. We're almost at break time already. Can you believe this? The time is just flying by.
It's awesome.
Uh I have this is the Making More Money for You show with Magnus Carter. And we are already halfway through the show. And we're talking about investing in your mind and also investing how you're investing in your mind will make a better tomorrow for you. Steve was actually went over some of his history. We've also talked about some of the four things that Steve notices when he's actually out in college. But before we continue with the last one, we got to take a short commercial break. And I want to thank all my listeners for tuning in. And we're going to be right back after these messages.
You're clear.
Cool. Sorry about that, Steve. I had to, it was timing.
That's all right. I didn't even see until you mentioned that. So that we were coming up. Yep. Are we
Time
covering the
slot.
type of things that you want to cover so far?
Yeah, we got everything covered. We're going
Okay.
over how investing in your mind, how Central Penn's helping it. I do want to go over some of the curriculum stuff that you do with uh, the workers afterwards. We'll go
Mhm.
over some of that stuff.
Okay.
And I actually kind of curious of the main what am I going to say? The main career choices that most of the students are making in the last couple of years that you've seen over your stay there.
Okay.
And yeah, we can definitely go into that, and we'll go into some statistics if you want to do some. We can definitely do some of that.
Well,
That's
yeah,
kind of
and I have some information that I've pulled from Bureau of Labor Statistics regarding
perfect.
median weekly earnings based
Okay.
on you know degree attainment, et cetera. So, some of those hard numbers might be of interest for listeners.
Yes, we will definitely cover those in the next one because
Okay.
investing in mind equals more money.
Right.
Investing in
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
So we
Yep.
can definitely do that.
Yep.
That's
Cool.
yeah. There's a pause in the beginning. I had the music play twice in my earphones. That's why
Oh,
I had to stop. I'm like,
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know why it would have done that because it didn't play back on this end double. So I don't know what happened there.
because I
But
heard
we
it.
are
I'm like,
coming back.
okay. Then it faded. I'm like, and then it came back. I'm like,
If you have any questions for Magnus or his guests, join us on the show at 866-472-5789. That's 866-472-5789. Now back to the show. Here is Magnus Carter.
hi everyone, welcome back to the show. I'm your host Magnus Carter. Today we're talking about investing in your mind, how learning will actually help make a better tomorrow for you. I want to thank you all for listening. I have my special guest with me, Steve Hassinger. He is the Dean of Career Services and Development at Central Penn College, located in the Harrisburg area in Pennsylvania. And if you have any questions for Steve, I know the uh, phone number went by quite fast, but the phone number is 866-472-5789. Before the break, we actually went over a couple of the things that Steve has noticed while actually out and about on the campus when he's taking in the environment. And Steve, let's pick up right where we left off.
sure. Well, I was talking about partnerships, and partnerships are important. Networking is extremely important, as I said earlier, I think, in terms of starting your career and developing your career. So it's important for a college as well. So we have some really exciting new partnerships that we've developed. And one of them is with the local minor league baseball team here in Harrisburg, the Harrisburg Senators. So we've developed a partnership with them that's allowing our baseball team to use their home field, FNB Field in Harrisburg, for our home baseball games. So they were able to play 4 doubleheaders at FNB Field this year. That was really exciting for us. And we have a partnership now with the city as well, where our soccer team is going to be able to use the soccer field on City Island in Harrisburg for their home games coming up this fall. So we're seeing some exciting new partnerships. We also have partnerships with local companies. So obviously, we've always had those partnerships for hiring, but we're starting to take it the other way. So companies are coming to us and saying, hey, Central Penn, we want to develop our workforce. We want to invest in the minds of our employees and keep our employees and have them progress and develop throughout the company. So how can we work together to do that? So we're working with local companies here in Central PA. The Giant Company is a huge food service company. And we've developed programs for their employees that they want to move along the ladder in their management careers. And we've developed some short-term programs for them specifically designed for the Giant Company. And we're talking with other companies about how we can do that as well. So, partnerships is exciting.
And speaking of partnerships like that, have you noticed with people re-enrolling in school or enrolling for the first time that they're actually in this situation because their employer never invested in them,
Mm,
in their mind, and in their progress to help the company grow? How
yeah.
how how often do you see that?
We see that a lot. We see, people coming to us saying, hey, I'm at a dead end here. I want something bigger and better for myself, for my family, right? So absolutely, we see that. There's a saying that you've probably seen going around LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever, and it says, well, what if I invest in these employees and they leave? And the comeback is, well, what if you don't invest in these employees and they stay, right?
Yes, that's definitely one of them because you're not getting the quality goes down for all around. uh, the environment it starts to become toxic.
Yeah.
On that aspect of it. Been through quite, throughout my journey of investing and also in IT as well. Definitely can partake in that and attest to that meme, if you will, or that posting.
Yeah.
So when investing in yourself, and have you also seen it on the flip side where the employee also invests in himself, but the company doesn't appreciate it?
Yeah, absolutely. And and then the employee tends to move on somewhere else, to somewhere that they do appreciate that, and they do appreciate what they can bring to the company. So it can work both ways. You're absolutely right.
And with that is, I know we talked about it before a little bit, that the Department of Labor actually has s- average statistics on
Sure.
the the person out of high school, the person with the associate level, and
Yep.
especially in different fields and from different parts of the country. And what have you been seeing as the students have actually been wanting to go into those fields?
Yeah.
So
So, I mean, I can give you some numbers from the Department of Labor and Industry, from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, in terms of median weekly earnings
okay,
based
which is
on
middle of the road.
right,
So
right, based on educational attainment. So, for somebody who has a high school diploma, no college, in the United States. Now, this is based on 2020 data. There's always a
okay.
little bit of a lag there until we compile the data and so forth. And this is for persons age 25 and over, for full-time wage and salary workers. All right.
Mhm.
So high school diploma, no college. The median weekly earnings was $781. And the unemployment rate back then, now again, this was in 2020, so this was as COVID was hitting, was 9%. Right? With some college and no degree. So maybe they've gotten a certificate, or they've at least, gotten several credits towards a degree program. That 781 goes up to $877, so almost $100 a week. All right. And the
Okay.
unemployment rate goes down to 8.3%. With an associate degree, goes up to $938, and unemployment rate went down to 7.1%. And then with a bachelor's degree, goes up to $1,305 per week. And the unemployment rate goes down to 5.5%. Okay, again, based on 2020 data.
Right.
And we could go on, as we get further up, to where they have a professional degree, $1,893, and an unemployment rate of only 3.1%. So a doctoral or other professional degree.
Mhm. Okay. So as even though we're investing in ourselves, the paycheck increases a little bit, but also so does our debt a little bit as well. So
Right.
there's kind of, there's a balance there that has to be weighed, especially for a student. But with the debt part of it, there's also grants, there's also federal aid, there's uh, student loans that you can do and
Mhm.
whatnot. So it actually counterbalances themselves, if I'm being from my experience anyway. So does that still pertain to now?
It does. And again, it's just a matter of doing your homework. And, if you're thinking about going to college for the first time, or you're thinking about going back, talk to the financial aid office at that college and find out what are the options. So as you said, there are grants that are available, grants that don't need to be repaid. All right.
Right.
Student loans obviously do need to be repaid. Some jobs that you go into after you graduate, though, might offer loan forgiveness. All right. The
This is
other thing is, you talk about investing in your employees. There are companies out there that will provide tuition assistance.
mhm,
So when you're looking at a job, one of the things that we're currently putting together for our students here is a workshop on, looking at the entire compensation package, not
right.
just what is the hourly or the yearly rate for this job, but things like tuition assistance. If you want to continue your education, does your
Mhm.
employer offer tuition assistance? Even a number of part-time jobs. We were just talking to an employer last week, and they now are extending their tuition assistance to part-time employees as well.
Wow.
So, those kind of options might be available. And then there are also scholarships that are available. So here at Central Penn College, we award scholarships twice a year. Students have to apply for those scholarships. They have to write an essay for the scholarship, but we've just recently awarded over $130,000 in scholarships to students. Yeah.
So it's a factor, but it's not the complete factor when investing in your mind. Is the finances do play a small part, but not be your complete stop or go.
Right.
Because there is assistance for this, and investing, learning, as you said before, is we don't stop learning. Even the smallest little thing that we didn't know yesterday, we found something to learn today. Even as small as that is, I have also seen a lot of people, it's like, oh, well, I didn't know that, brush it off. It's like, even the small things add up to bigger and better things. That is your building blocks. A good foundation constantly rises up, and the sky's the limit. I'm not sure how you talk to your students, but from a student perspective, is when I was learning all of this, it was very overwhelming,
Mhm.
especially in such a short amount of time. They want to get you in, they want to get you situated, and then get you on your thing, on your journey. So how, when students do come to you with these questions and whatnot, do you have also information, and of course you bring your experience to the table, is I know, and is it mainly case by case that you actually talk to the person and reassure them of anything that's actually going on?
Yeah, I mean, we're small, we're a relatively small school. So, right now we have about 875 students. So, we can tailor it to the specific individual. But at the
Okay.
same time, my team here in Career Services, we try to offer workshops, trainings that we're going to put together. So for instance, we just recently had a local employer who came in and they provided some workshops on professionalism in the workplace, which is going to be extremely important. As I said, we're working with some employers and some people here at the college to put together a workshop on evaluating the total compensation package. Tomorrow, we're having a professional clothing giveaway day. So, we have a professional wardrobe here that is available for free to our students or our alumni if they have a need for professional clothing. So we're constantly offering different types of workshops to prepare students for what they're going to encounter out there in, quote, the real world when they're out there. So it's not just something that we do once a year and then forget about it. Every term we're offering different types of sessions on different topics that will prepare them for success.
That's amazing. When you're talking to students, or if anybody that's listening to this that actually is wanting to start investing in themselves, and it's time to start investing in themselves, especially their mind, and it's like, okay, we're done, I'm done with this part of my life, and I want to learn something new. What do you tell a person like that how to search to find the right college for themselves, or right learning opportunity?
Yeah. So first of all, as I said, I think you want to, do they have an end goal in mind? Okay.
Okay.
So if they want to change, do they have an idea of what they want to change to? Okay.
Mhm.
And if not, then we need to start doing some self-evaluation. All right.
Okay.
So again, we have some tools that are available. We have a tool called Focus 2, which is based on something called Holland codes or Holland types, to try to figure out, based on who they are as a person, what types of majors and what types of jobs might be the best fit. Okay, now we have to start, once we know that, okay, we have to start doing some research and researching those job possibilities. Okay. What are those jobs likely to pay? All right. So we
Mhm.
might have a 35-year-old, I don't know, female who's working and earning $45,000-$50,000 a year, and she wants to study criminal justice, okay, because she
Okay.
likes the CSI shows. All right. Well, reality, what are those jobs going to pay, when she finishes that degree? And is that economically, what she's looking for as
Right.
well. Okay, so
Okay.
do our research on both ends and kind of make sure that there's a good fit. And then if we know what that career goal is, and we will do whatever we can to try to help her, make the connections and be successful, getting to that goal at the end.
That's great advice. Now, I have a question about, we live in a world now, not really our own little area in Pennsylvania anymore. So, what happens when someone else from another country wants to come and actually expand their mind and their horizons and want to learn about the United States? Does What would be the best way for the person to do that besides traveling around and just day-to-day stuff? What would you recommend for that type of person that wants to expand their mind in like a college atmosphere or a more formal educational atmosphere?
Yeah. So, I mean, if they want to come to the United States, I mean, one of the great things is, we now have things like virtual tours. All right. So somebody can, click on a virtual tour and they can kind of see what Central Penn College actually looks like if they want to come here physically,
Hmm.
and be in the United States. I had an intern a few years ago who was from Germany, because she wanted to experience career services in the United States. So it wasn't that she was coming here for her education, but she came here to work with us for a
Okay.
summer, for an internship that she could do because she had some family that lived in the area. The great thing is we have tools like Zoom and FaceTime and Microsoft Teams. So we can connect virtually with people all around the world,
Mhm.
so that we can have that face-to-face meeting. So if they want to come here, we have a person who is our designated school official, Romeo Azandakan. So I would connect them with Dean Azandakan or Vice President Azandakan, first of all, as our designated school official. And we want to make sure that they've got all their visa things in order that they need to be able to come here and to study in the United States. And he would be our expert in that area who would help them make sure that they have all of that. And again, we just want to make sure that it's a good fit for them. Are they looking for, a school like Central Penn? We're very career focused. So, do they have an end goal in mind? And we would work with them to be able to make that happen.
So there are no boundaries anymore when it comes to learning.
There really are not. No, absolutely. And we have students all over the place that are connecting with us. And from a career services standpoint, I mean, I can do a mock interview with somebody who's, out to sea in the Navy on a ship. We had a student, who was taking courses while he was out to sea, serving the country. So I mean, there are all kinds of different opportunities because of technology that we have available to us now these days.
Man. And technology is not going to slow down at any parts, and it is still keeping us connected with, especially with learning now, for that reason. And when when you are actually working with students on improving themselves and bringing them on, what is the main aspiration that drives you to do that?
I love it when the student comes back to me and you can see that kind of light in their eyes and they say, I just got this internship or I just got this job, that they really wanted. That really drives me. Student success is
Okay.
what drives me. And every year we do a 1-year graduate follow-up survey where we follow up with our students because we want to know not just are they getting a job, but are they getting a job in the field that they came here to study for? That's
Okay.
kind of our calling card and our report card, if you will, as an
Right.
institution. So, following up with those students, finding out about their success, and then, seeing our successful alumni out there and seeing all that they're doing and all that they're accomplishing and getting invited to their radio show because they're successful, right? uh, is great. So it's the student success and the alumni success is really what drives me and keeps me doing what I do.
That's that is definitely honorable to be doing your line of work for seeing the success of others. If you would ask me when I graduated, would I be doing this? Absolutely not. Furthest thing from my mind, helping people on a global scale, on the investing and talking about all these things that get overlooked, honestly, because we're so busy in our day-to-day lives. We don't take the time to actually sit down and think about this. It actually takes a show or a podcast or a YouTube channel that will actually sit down and make you think. It's like, he has a point. What if I do want to do this? What are the possibilities? Is there more out there than this, just this? And that's when the wheels start turning, and is like, is the better tomorrow actually possible?
Mhm.
And I've been seeing that a lot, especially when we look back at our childhood and we see the progression. It's really life changing. And what you're talking about is in the investment of the mind, is we take it for granted.
Yeah. Yeah, we absolutely do. And, when people make the commitment to invest in their mind, as I said, they see not just the financial rewards, but the satisfaction, the impact that maybe they have on others. There are a lot of different rewards that come with investing in your mind. And I like to tell our students, you're going to know Saturday night or Sunday night at about 8 o'clock, you're going to know if you're in the right career. Because, I see people on social media and they're like, oh, got to go back to work tomorrow, or, oh, can't we extend the weekend anymore? You know what? Sunday night at 8 o'clock is no different for me really than Friday night at 8 o'clock, because I love getting up and going to work and, doing what I do. I mean, do I have bad days? Sure. Do I have
Absolutely.
challenging days? Oh, sure. You're going to have challenging days, at work. But, if you really invest in your mind and you're doing what you want to do and you're enjoying what you do, you're not going to have that dread at 8 o'clock Sunday night.
Yep, I'll agree. I'll never forget when I met Sean Patrick Flannery at a Comic Con,
Mm.
and actually it was a horror convention slash Comic Con. He said, and it is true, and I've heard it over the years, and it really didn't sink in till it actually happened and the light went on, is you will never work a day in your life when you find something you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hard to say that. It is very cliche, but it is honestly fact. It's factual.
Mhm.
And the only person that can change that is yourself.
Yeah. Well, and I will tell you, I have been blessed with supervisors that I have had over the years, and especially here at Central Penn College. I can't say enough about our current college president and how invested she is in the lives of our students. The number one reason that people leave jobs is because of their boss.
Yeah.
So, I guess the fact that I've been here for 20 years means I've been blessed with some pretty good people to work for as well. And I hope that I can be that type of boss for the people who report to me as well. So, it's really important to have good people around you also.
Mhm. I agree. I definitely agree with that. Your surroundings, how you present yourself, the way you take care of yourself are definitely um, items that one person can contribute to and to have to take ownership of.
Yeah.
And investing in your mind is definitely no different than that. And Steve, we are actually almost out of time. I can't believe that this has gone by this fast. All the shows are always going fast like this, especially when we have a great conversation going on.
Sure.
So with that is, how can we get in touch with you if we actually want to, if we want to take the step and invest in our minds and contact you or Central Penn to find out your full offerings?
Yeah. So you can contact me directly at 717-728-2262 if you want to connect with me via phone. If you want to email me, my email is my first and last name, Steve Hassinger @centralpenn.edu. If you can't remember who the heck that Dean guy was that was on Magnus's show, you can reach out to Career Services. If you can remember career services @centralpenn.edu, and that will come to us as well. And you can find me on LinkedIn if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn as well. Just let me know that you heard me on Magnus Carter's show here, Investing in Your Mind, and we'll be happy to connect that way as well.
Steve, I can't thank you enough for being here, showing us how investing in your mind, whether it's school or YouTube or a book somewhere, that will actually make a better tomorrow for us. I thank you for taking the time out of your day to do this. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. Next week, we are actually going to be talking about making money. That's right. It is not a mistype or a typo. We are going to talking about making money. And if you're curious to find out what that actually entails, tune in next week to find out. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful weekend and a rest of your week. And pick up a book, read a couple lines from it, see what you can learn from it. And have a great, thank you.
All right, you're clear.